One shall stand, and one shall fall.
Yeah. New kids on the block, we here making it pop. Don't care if you like it or not. The spot we want is the top. The head nerds in charge and I foresee to making things happen. If you think you heard what you thought you heard, go ahead and play that thing backwards. Coming out the speakers in the car in the man cave. The mother bus is about to be knocked off the airwaves. So be very afraid. Better check your gameplay. Sitting on all that and finna take away your fan base. The stage is set. Better put respect up on our name. What you get right now, you get it later. A consistent game, a steady dosage. Once you started, you can get enough. The people's chant ain't a topic we ain't finna touch. So bring your A game, cause the boys behind the mic finna do the same thing. One time for the one time, let it off like bang bang. We aiming to be the greatest. We accepting any challenge. With a snap of the finger, bringing balance. Let's make it happen. You tuned in to the place to be. You tuned in to HNIC.
Head nerds in charge.
You tuned in to the place to be. You tuned in to HNIC.
Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law. There's only one boss in this place, and that's me. The HNIC.
This Sassy Neko coming at you live. I know y'all saw my pictures that I put up and tried to go with this fan service thing. We're gonna give it a try, see where if I have any future endeavors for Patreon in the future.
We don't have no audio.
Yo, it interestingly enough, I was able to see some of these pictures.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's that supposed to be?
I'm just saying.
It could have been worse.
How far are we going with these pictures?
As far as she went to. That's hers. That's
Yeah,
hers.
with
She
tough
got it.
said.
She
With
got
tough
it.
said.
Is that
Snip. But I probably won't.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you show
Anybody who knows me knows
Sassy
I'm-
is hilarious.
I'm
She's
a
like,
punk
send me
anyway.
$45 for my kneecap.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Like, if you like to look at thigh highs on people, I'm that person. If you like to look at leg garters, I'm that person.
Yeah.
If you want to look at clothes,
You get a little bit of thigh meat and you got to pay $100 for it.
Yeah.
That's right, because it's worth it.
Yes.
Keep your
You
secret
spend
garden
your
secret.
money. You spend your money responsibly. I think so.
Thank you for plugging your lewd Patreon.
Thank you.
You're terrible. You're a terrible human being. That's all.
And then
and then
moving on.
Yeah. Moving on to the left of Sassy Neko after she has basically exposed her Patreon.
I don't have one yet. But you should go
So
like
you
my
just-
page so I can find out if I need to make one or not.
So wait a minute, you just giving out the goods for free?
No, that's not goods yet.
Well,
They're partial goods. We'll see what happens.
it's diet goods,
Diet.
low calorie goods.
They're light goods.
Got you, light goods. All right. Well, you know, everybody needs to watch their weight. Anyway, to the left of Sassy Neko, we have, what is this, the fourth week in a row?
Yeah.
The time's running out. No, I'm joking. Introduce yourself to the people.
Good evening, guys. It's at Teffy Wonder here, the Lone Wonder Clone, kicking it again with the head nerds in charge. I'm moving in, y'all.
Wow. She's like that.
She just said it.
Yo, you know, she's like that cousin that you say can sleep over that one night, and now they've been here 3 weeks because their daddy left.
Hey, you like when your mom said she was coming to pick you up
I cook, I clean.
Listen.
My portion of the rent be on
So
time.
she's a lot better than that.
No, because you know that one cousin, they always got to sleep in your bed, and you don't find out till day 3 that they pee the bed. So now you like, can you please not let, you know, I used to be with John, he peed the bed. You don't remember that Ghostface Killer? Oh, y'all too young for that. That's what I'm talking about. Wow. This is why I'm representing the 80s and old school hip hop.
I know it. I just don't remember it quote for quote.
What? Come on.
Like, who's supposed to remember that one line?
How do you not remember? That is one of Tommy Mottola's best.
I don't even remember lines now.
Yeah, I used to sleep with John, he peed the bed. That's like one of Ghostface's best.
What? No.
face
this is
would beg to do.
But I like you.
This is gonna be a long show because.
Well, soon Javi will be coming to save you.
Yeah, fortunately, my man Javier, the front man for Yo That's Real Rap, will be in here. He's going to join in our discussion about hip hop's evolution over the years and its force in media. Right now, I'm the only person that I know of that actually knows what hip hop is because she likes Tyler the Creator. We're not even.
Oh, you just try to come at Tyler Duck like that. That's disrespectful.
I'm right at him.
That's disrespectful.
We're talking about Sassy's almost lewds. Can I plug my pole dancing where I'm kind of lewd?
She keep trying to plug this dog on pole dancing. This has become a less than family friendly show. We got lewds and pole dancing. No, by all means, go ahead, do your thing.
Come see me down at the Klein Life Center June 29th at 12 o'clock. The Mocha Mermaid will be taking the stage at the PSO, that's Pole Sport Organization, Liberty Competition. It starts at like 8ish in the morning. I go on at 12. You can come see me, not quite lewd, but definitely half dressed.
Please, for anybody who is allowing their kids to watch this show, I promise you, I have no lewds on the way. None.
You
at all.
said you
No, I
have none
won't
on
set
the
up a
way.
Patreon for me naked. But by all means, check out these ladies as they do. And for those that want to know, it's pole dancing as a sport. Don't bring no dollars down.
Don't bring
If you can-
But if you'd like to bring dollars, you can see me afterwards.
I was about to say,
She likes donations, and I like donations too.
listen, just tell them what your Cash App is and keep it moving like the rest of the 21st century. Anyway, Cash App me, bro. We're going to get right into these hot topics because there's a lot going on in the news, and we need to talk about it, especially Geek Talk News. But sometimes we cover a little bit of pop culture, like my man Cuba Gooding Jr. was apparently arrested because some vanilla person decided to go to the police and accuse him of groping her. Most expeditiously.
Yeah, it was like sexual assault.
Yeah, it turned into a whole big thing, and they had to go to the tapes, and apparently Cuba, it didn't look like he even got a piece of the cheek.
I was confused as to what was even happening in the situation. It was just like, okay, so he gets up from this woman who's like grabbing all over him, and then after that he like brushes out and he leaves.
So I was also confused because the clip I saw was like he leans over and like grabs her knee, and I was like, that's sexual assault.
So, well, apparently, when a black man breathes on a white woman, they can be arrested for such things.
Because how dare you? She's a queen.
Well, I'm just saying, because that's why I love this picture of Cuba, because you can see how these white dudes are so mad they can't arrest him right now, and he walking out like, I'm free. I played OJ in the OJ movie.
I mean, if anything, she was groping on him more
Facts.
than anything else.
Like a mutual
That's why I was
thing.
like, wait, what happened?
So who was the victim or the claimed victim in the situation anyway?
Well, see, the problem was he was actually on a date with another individual. She sat next to him and initiated, hey, ooh, Puerto Rico, Doma.
We're sorry for our sporadic change, but when
Papi Chulo come in, we got to say,
we gotta stop everything we doing.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
It's about to be a big asset to us right now, especially.
I'm trying to learn Spanish. I'm sorry. I'm not sure all the words that I be saying. Papi, could you introduce yourself to everybody real quick since we're still in the introduction phase?
Do I still do the same thing I used to do?
Yeah, by all means. Yep. There you go. Well, the fanfare has died. Javier is here.
He just halved us.
Yeah, he just half. And basically, with Cuba Gooding Jr., we already know that 9 times out of 10, he's going to get off of this case. But it just precipitates the same stereotypical view of black men that these alpha predators and all of a sudden, because I remember on social media, once they said that he had groped her, all of social media was like, oh, he must have did it. I can totally believe it. He looks super creepy. Then they showed the video and it was like, black power. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah, I get a little tired of that. Also, in news, I don't know, it's speaking because it's interesting that Cuba Gooding Jr. played O.J. Simpson, but O.J. Simpson went on Twitter
oh my God.
to announce that he will be setting the record straight via his Twitter feed. He now sits at over 1 million followers. So he has an audience to be able to tell everybody what really happened on that fateful night, because he ain't killing white folks per OJ. OJ, we don't believe you. We never believed you. But you know what? There's been so much that other people have gotten away with. I remember when OJ got away with that.
Yeah.
The entire school erupted. You would have thought somebody won the Super Bowl. But you are a murderer. I don't care what nobody says.
Can we talk about somebody who needs to have several seats? At this point, OJ needs to have a stadium's worth of seats. Boy, if you don't get down and sit down somewhere and shut the hell up.
You gotta give black grandma voice if you don't, you can't, you gotta bite your bottom lip. If you don't sit your getting on this.
Take his phone.
Yeah, they don't know how to use social media. Like, you on the Twitters talking that foolishness, boy.
But no, I was done with him when he wrote that book. But if I did do it, sit down.
Let me tell you something. If you want a treat, go on YouTube and type in OJ Simpson. What if I did do it? And there's this interview where he was like, he literally tells you how he killed these people, and at the end of it was like, yeah, but that wasn't me. It was a hypothetical. I was like, OJ, you went to a place?
Wow, no, so they
Yeah. OJ is always making us look bad. You ain't been right since you left the NFL.
I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Right.
Okay.
Listen, despite the fact that this is a celebratory type of day, we must hold our heads in remission because Shaft bombed at the movie theaters.
Did you expect it to do anything different?
But that didn't only come out for like a day, or did it stay in the theaters?
No, it stayed in the theaters for a while. Apparently, a lot of people had a lot of things. They said the Shaft was very problematic, exhibiting a lot of toxic masculinity, things in which I actually love. So,
I foundation of which it was. That was from a different time period.
Yeah,
for that movie. So I kind of like.
But no, it's a remake.
Of course they're gonna. So I mean, of course, some of it might be like not exactly in guideline of our views today because they're going based off of like
a 70s
the
remake.
Stuff that made the movie. I don't know. That's one of those gray areas.
If that was the case to fit our time.
So he has a son in the movie. They could have did something like that where they made it like he has to kind of fit in to modern, teach his
try
old
to
dog
correct
new
them.
tricks. Like it could have been more.
But they didn't do that.
Right.
Well, I wanted to see it, but I didn't end up getting.
I didn't want to see it, but I did see Men in Black. So.
Well, I'm about to say
Men in Black. Do you think they should change the title then, if that was the case?
Of Men in Black?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we gonna get into that. Trust and believe me. Just to close out, Shaft. I actually had a friend of mine go and do a review on it. He said it was actually a solid movie. It's just that a lot of people didn't support it because they didn't heavily promote it. So a lot of people didn't know about Shaft. I mean, we didn't. It just got lost in the sauce, which is okay because, you had King of Monsters out, you had Men in Black that came out, so obviously they felt like it would be able to carry the name of Samuel L. Jackson, and that would be enough. Y'all chose wrong. Richard Roundtree.
Not the way it is with movies nowadays.
Yeah,
so
you better promote it.
Everywhere else,
Yeah, but now how you already jumped right into a key point because Shaft ain't the only thing that bombed in the theaters. Apparently, Men in Black did worse than Dark Phoenix,
but it still was #1 this weekend.
Apparently, it when you're #1 and you're the only kid in the schoolyard. But interestingly enough, the young lady, I forget what her name is all the time. She plays Valkyrie. Tessa Thompson, yeah, beautiful woman.
That's why you need me here.
Well, let's not get too crazy. But you were about to ask a question that Tessa Thompson brought up herself.
To change the title.
Should they have changed it? It literally became a huge trending topic on whether or not it should be renamed because Men in Black.
The idea would have been People in Black, and then she was like, well, that's PID, that sounds like something.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
then she was like, what about the HIV? And then she was like,
Humans in Black. Yeah, Humans in Black.
So they make that point in the movie. They make it like a joke where it's like, we are the men in black, and he turns around, looks at her, and goes, and women, everybody in black. But it's men in the plural sense. In lots of languages, they defer to the masculine form when speaking to a group of others. I didn't have a problem with the title at all. I thought that was just kind of like fodder for social media, just to drum up some extra.
If they were to change it, I think it would have been Agents in Black. Would have been the
That would have I can rock with Agents in Black, but
Black.
it's still stupid.
We were trying to stick on the guidelines of, once again, what the movie title was, so that people who were fans of it could be drawn in.
Right, if you say Agents in Black, ain't nobody gonna see that.
Nobody may have even realized or paid attention or gave a crap that it was still a part of the original series, but I guess it didn't matter either which way, because if it did poorly, then...
So I was just about to say that them changing the title wouldn't have really
made it any better.
Well,
I saw it. It wasn't bad. Like, as far it kind of the way your friend said about Shaft, it was a good, solid, like, adventure, kind of like buddy cop comedy movie. As far as like the Men in Black series goes, the only thing that I feel like where it failed was it didn't provide any nuance to the Men in Black mythos. It didn't bring anything new. It was just like, hey, show up because we've got aliens and a woman this time. It was like, okay, and
if Will Smith ain't in it, it ain't gonna do well.
Yeah, I didn't
you
like
didn't feel
it
that way
after
about
he left.
Aladdin. But
About what?
Aladdin.
Nah, because Will Smith was never in it. Because Robin Williams wasn't in it. See, if Will Smith starts it, he's got to finish it.
To say exactly.
No, here's why. Because they actually brought up an interesting point. Movies that Will Smith start but does not follow up in the sequel end up bombing. Independence Day. Independence Day was horrendous. And they say large in part it's because of Will Smith's star power. If he's synonymous with the franchise...
I don't think that's because of his star power. That's because they had a scheduling conflict and he had to drop out of the movie, so they didn't rewrite it well to compensate for his absence. There's more that goes into it.
Well, wait, why he didn't show up is, I mean, whether it was scheduled conflict or whatever, but his star power is what juices the movie. Because nobody's coming to see Tommy Lee Jones.
But they should have.
You said.
That's what you said.
I don't even know who that is.
Tommy Lee Jones in it.
What movie did you go to see with Tommy Lee Jones in it that you were excited about and other people were as well?
Volcano.
You're literally probably the only person on earth that cared about Volcano. Yeah, exactly.
Can somebody know, seriously though, who
you
is
don't know
this?
who Tommy Lee Jones?
I forget. I don't keep up with celebrity names for the most
Fugitive
part.
might be too old for that. Yeah, Men in Black. Did you see the original?
The guy that was his partner. Yeah, I like that man.
Right, but
okay.
When's the last time you seen a movie with him just starring in it?
Volcano.
Exactly. And nobody cares about Volcano.
The cheerleader movie.
And she said it so confidently. Volcano. Everybody was like,
I never heard of
that.
What was that in 1957?
I'm sorry I failed you by not
Like 90. It's fine.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna be with you in the same boat for this hip hop.
Where in the world did Volcano come from? Where did you pull that out of?
Volcano.
I love movies.
She just saw it 2 days ago.
I love
Did you
movies.
rewatch it or something? Like, did you find that on VHS?
No, you said Tommy Lee Jones, and I went through the Rolodex of Tommy Lee Jones movies.
Somebody
in my
keeps
head.
saying Fugitive. Well, we had
Yeah, the
some
Fugitive,
people
but he
saying
wasn't the.
Fugitive.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't the star of that
Denzel
movie.
Washington was the star.
Not of the
no.
Fugitive.
Oh,
No,
was that the Negotiator?
Tommy Lee Jones wasn't in the Negotiator.
No, Harrison Ford. That's
Harrison Ford was the.
I'm thinking of
Double Jeopardy?
I'm thinking of the sequel.
Yeah, Double Jeopardy. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just giving you.
Tommy Lee Jones, we love you as a supportive actor, but nobody cares about you starring in anything. I'm just.
No, if he was a grandpa of some child, like
That's Clint Eastwood.
then I would care if he was a grandpa.
Yeah,
of some
Clint Eastwood
child.
does Grandpa Jones, but not Tommy
Well,
Lee.
he can't be the grandpa. I
No,
like him.
Tommy Lee. The last thing that I
He
saw
can't
that.
be the fun grandpa that like the kids get. He's a babysitter
Robert De Niro
grandpa.
has taken over that role with the bad grandpa with Zac Efron.
Yeah,
And then
that's
the
funny.
parents leave, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, we gonna have fun kids." Like I can picture him doing
No,
that.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones is too great.
Tommy Lee Jones ruined that after he did that movie with Benicio del Toro where he was a knife fighter and he was like a trainer and he cut him all up. Once you see Tommy Lee Jones dismantle a man with a rock made out of a shiv, I don't want him watching my kids. I'm just saying.
Men in Black, again, the movie itself wasn't bad. It kind of lacked some of that magic that made Men in Black so good in the beginning. Like Men in Black 3, it kind of underperformed in the theaters, but when I sat down and watched it, I was like, this is good, this is fun. Like I would sit down, watch this with my kids. Like I enjoyed the movie series as a whole.
Yo, I love it. Mike Whitehead said, "You haven't seen The Fugitive?" I think we all collectively feel that way.
And I'm just like, no, I'm sorry.
Jeff Taylor says, "No, fam, I'm definitely not going to the movies just to see Tommy Lee." I agree with you. Will Soto says, "Tommy Lee Jones, for the most part, has always been a solid actor, and most times is a supporting actor." Right? He's always been good, but
some people just fit into their role.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, moving on. Apparently, the marketing team for Child's Play, the new movie coming out, which I enjoy it because apparently they changed the context of what makes Chucky Chucky. Before, the dude knew some voodoo and did some Num Yo Ho Renge Kill stuff and put his soul into the doll, but apparently this time they're going a more Black Mirror-esque AI tech side of it, where it's basically a mechanical doll going awry, and its AI kind of goes rogue, starts killing people.
If you look at the box on all of them, they all show like that little Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And now he can go in other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be even worse.
The fact that you're that excited about it scares me.
I want to see some limbs and stuff flying off.
Can we go see that
whatnot.
together?
Yeah.
Like, I need a partner. I want to see it, but I can't.
It's more modern. It's
Yeah.
where it's like, this is possible.
Well, yeah, anything steeped in reality, it's a little bit more off-putting. That's why Black Mirror, we might talk about, I don't know if we'll talk about Black Mirror because there's an episode I don't want to discuss. But
this is because you're not mature enough to discuss.
Wow.
I wonder if we all talked about
The head nurse in charge is looking for a follow-up host to be able to replace.
Follow-up.
But as far as Child's Play is concerned, the marketing team has decided to take some jabs at another kids movie.
Perfect opportunity.
Yo, they killed Woody, Buzz Lightyear. They killed the Slinky.
They did Rex today. I saw that one.
They out here cooking folk.
Well, if they come out around the same time and you have all this promotion going out for tourists there, let me go ahead
and I think they come out like the same time.
And they've definitely been getting support from me because I share every time they come out with one.
We've seen all the ones you share. And if you're watching the show, you can kind of see to the right. We have a display of some of the different posters that they have up. Honestly, Chucky a wild boy because he does not care.
So go back to your childhood where you were afraid when you were watching this movie with this doll.
I've never been afraid of this movie.
Well, so the way I grew up, demonic movies were not allowed in our home at all. I'll never forget. This older kid came to spend a week at our house, and he had his duffel bag. In the duffel bag, he had a few movies that we weren't supposed to watch, but one of them was Child's Play. So here, me and my brother are definitely afraid to even get caught. Any exposure. Yeah, to watch this. So he puts on Child's Play, and when the boys play, he's like, my brother goes screaming out of the room.
Oh man,
there's demons in the room, and I'm like,
even happened at that point.
When I tell you the beating, my mom was like, who put this on? And what does the ball do?
Kurt.
It's Kurt's. I was like,
I told you Kurt don't do that.
My mom beat the pure dog mess out of me. Now, mind you, she believed me that it wasn't me because she knew her son. But the simple fact that I didn't stop him.
Yeah, you just like let it happen.
Yeah, because
you was going to look at it anyway.
I wanted them other movies to get Child's Play. What else you got in that bag?
Oh, Jesus.
But go ahead, Howard.
Yeah,
No, so you had that point of view of looking at it. It was a scary thing to watch, or Now, have the nostalgia of having it finally when you're older, and being able to watch it with your kids. That my kids are afraid of it,
right?
Because they know it's something they're not supposed to be okay with.
Yeah,
it's killing people.
Right. That's all I'm saying. We got
now having to the point where my kids watch things on tablets all the time. Everything's electronic. Go ahead and put this Child's Play doll to be able to have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, to be able to transfer something to other places.
Yeah.
Other dolls or other,
that's creepy.
That's
Right.
So
that gives you that connection now to where it's like, all right, now how am I gonna look at this now?
So-
Because as an adult, it can happen.
It can happen.
So this actually scares me more than the original one because, like, when I watched it when I was younger, I was still like, "It's a stupid doll. Step on it." Like his arm range is
Whatever.
like this.
When that
like,
chick flipped him over, he had no batteries. He's like, "Get your hands off me, B." I was like,
I had a weird way of interpreting fear when I was younger to where it was like, because my mom always looked at horror movies with me anyway because she's a big fan. So what happened was, it was like when I was looking at it, I wasn't really that freaked out, but at night because of the dolls that I had like an amazing Allie and she looked like Chucky. Yeah.
You weren't afraid of it. I was terrified. We stood, okay, there's literally about 10 of us. My sister's the oldest, the rest of us, my cousins and my brother, all boys. We always stood at one aunt's house because it was the biggest house, the best house to be at, right? That lady had every single porcelain doll, every Barbie doll.
Yeah, that's when it gets creepy when you look at the dolls after.
Packages hanging on walls, hanging everywhere. You don't want to watch these things. What happens is, you look over,
those dolls moving. Yup.
Yeah, that's what I was
I love
thinking
it.
occasionally.
Look,
I was like,
on the chat, Hassan said, "Let's play Hide the Soul." That dude, remember that when he was like, "Let's play Hide the Soul," and then on top of that, Mike Whitehead actually brings up a very valid point. It's Skynet in the form of a doll. That is exactly. This is how Terminator starts.
I mean, again, that's scarier to me than the original premise of some guy is being possessed by a doll.
Listen,
because I looked at my doll, I was like, I wish you niggas would.
No. Don't give me that, because let me tell you something. I've seen enough that if there's enough dolls like Puppet Master, like if you remember, I don't know who remembers.
I didn't watch Puppet Master. Puppet Master.
Let me tell you something. Them dolls will give you that work. Forget that. All right, or even that. Tales from the Hood. Kick that doll if you want to. See how that plays out.
I was older when I watched that stuff. Like by the time my mother allowed us to watch such things, I was like 12 and 13.
Steph Wharton brought up a good one. What about Small Soldiers? You remember? Look, you wasn't back, even though that wasn't like a scary movie, but them toys was self-aware. I don't like anything that I can't shut off. I saw iRobot.
Here's the worst part of it. I felt bad for Andy and his mother because it's like, well, how do you explain this? Because now it looks like you did these things that you showing up at, because like nobody's gonna believe you that this doll did any of this.
And listen,
that sucked.
And don't get it twisted. Y'all got little Chucky sitting in your house right now. It's called Alexa. Y'all go ahead on and keep on. You gonna be like, Alexa, turn off the lights. You be like, no, nigga.
Lock the doors.
Yeah.
Get ready to bow down to your robot overlord.
Listen,
what's the name of that movie on Disney?
Which one?
Smart House.
Smart House.
Oh yeah, that movie. I didn't like those
It was
Disney
Alexa.
movies. But
It was Alexa. You see?
That's exactly why I don't have
her name
one. I don't
was
play them
Alexa,
games.
wasn't it?
What's it?
Look, y'all go ahead on and mess around with all
Difference.
this here technology.
I don't play them games. Y'all can have that.
If I can't unplug it or take the battery out of it without it operating, it ain't coming in my house. But speaking of which, you know what? We had a different direction we were gonna go, but you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead on, since Tef said I don't have the maturity. She had the audacity, the sheer gall to come for the king on his own show.
She had to come for you because now look what it made you do.
Yeah, because I'm totally deviating from the outline. Forget Zidaya's hair, red color. We don't care about that. If you have watched Black Mirror on Netflix and have had the opportunity to see the first episode, which is called Striking Vipers. Striking Vipers has made social commentary on black male sexuality a focal point in the recent weeks, simply because it poses the. I'm trying to be mature and professional. I'm trying to give a broadcast.
It was wild. It was very wild.
Who saw Striking Vipers? You're fortunate.
Any Black Mirror yet.
Good. All right. So I'm gonna start with Tef's point of view.
Sorry.
I'm gonna start with Tef's point of view.
You start with Tessie?
No, I said what I said. We're gonna start with Tef's point of view. And then we're gonna move down the line. You gonna fall. Ooh, you on your lean. Tef, how did you feel about Black Mirror's Striking Vipers?
I loved the episode Striking Vipers. It was kind of in the vein of the San Junipero episode, where it told like more of a modern, like unconventional love story between two longtime friends who found a way, or who end up coming together through like their shared love of video games. It takes like a hard romantic left, I will say, but I liked it. It was well done. It was very tasteful. They have that sort of like, tasteful. Can we not? The one character, Anthony Mackie's character, is married. Their wife, him and his wife are trying to have another baby, and he finds himself at this crux of having an affair with his best friend via video game. So it was kind of convoluted, but I felt it was well done. Exactly. I felt it was well done. The ending for me was very modern. I was like, okay, sis, get your swerve on. Like the way they work it out, and it brought levity back to Black Mirror, which can be very dense material and very sort of doom and gloom, and it kind of lightened it up a bit. I really enjoyed the episode.
Sassy, how did you feel about it?
How does Sassy feel about it? So, for one, I was very caught off guard because, like she said, a hard left. I was like, oh, okay. So that's what's going. I see where this man that went there, and then it happened, and I'm just like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, I'll see what happens when they're in person. And that was the part that kind of caught me off guard, because it's like, it makes you realize that with media and everything developing the way that it is, it opens doors to like possibilities that we don't have answers to, because it's like, what would you do in that predicament, and why do you? It opens room for feelings to be had that wouldn't usually have happened. But
I feel like, though, as women, we're allowed to explore our sexuality more openly, and men are not. And then it brought that same kind of extra layer to it, that they were best friends. And
hold on. You said your piece. Sassy, are you done?
No. But, so let's see where else.
Yeah, where else you want to go with this?
So basically, the thing that I like the most out of it, like the whole, I like the resolution. And the resolution part was good to me, was because of the fact that it kind of opened room to that thing that we don't really like to discuss, which is that for some people, and sometimes, and it doesn't mean that all relationships have to be that way, but sometimes people need to be able to get things, their wants, their needs fulfilled in different ways, and it doesn't always happen that with the traditional way of you and that person for together forever, because you can really love a person, but they just don't meet all of the needs that you have. So they had a agreement. You do this thing that you like to do, and we just
no. Don't say do this thing. Go sleep with your best friend.
Yeah, in a video game.
While I go smash the random ball at the bar.
Yeah, exactly. But
Is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet? No? I'll wait. Go ahead, Sassy, finish, because I don't want to interrupt you.
I don't know if I should say I'm finished, because I just don't want to give you
They won't let me out.
I haven't seen this.
Listen.
Speak to me, because you're speaking and I don't understand what's going on. I'm more understanding now what Kurt is saying. So don't be so...
Let me loose. Just let me loose. Come on, Sassy, you done?
I feel like you're trying to hide something.
Sassy, are you done?
I'm not trying to hide it.
He's like, I liked it, and
Yo, if y'all on the chat, ask Sassy if she done.
What's going on?
No, because I don't want to all the way ruin it for people. But I guess that's what my problem is. But go ahead.
Kurt is chomping at the bit to let the cat out of the bag.
Fine, thank you. In the words of Riley Freeman, these niggas gay. Yo, let me tell y'all something. Look, I don't have...
Right in the middle of Pride Month. Can you at least try to take that into consideration?
Hold on. I respect all cultures, peoples, and whatnot. Lifestyle, do you? I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Now, what I do have an issue with is people keep the same energy. It blows my mind that so many women are so quick to be like, oh, it's so modern, and it was so nice to see that these two young men were able to explore their sexuality in such a safe space. I'm not done. I let y'all speak, didn't I?
Don't you
I said women. I didn't say y'all. Why? Y'all feel guilty about something?
Because I'm a woman. You saying that like it wasn't.
Hold on. I didn't say y'all. I said women. Allow me to finish my comment. And so many women were like, oh, it was so nice that I got to see the two men explore their sexuality, and it's so open that now these black men can now embrace each other.
Oh, I heard a male say it too.
All right,
I was saying not just
that was
but I'm giving you the majority of what Kurt heard. Kurt ain't here. No, my circle ain't say that.
Okay.
So, and what kills me is at the end of Striking Vipers, they come to this resolution that, okay, you can dip off and smash your ball in this virtual world. I'm going to dip off and I'm going to go to the bar and smash this random ball. But it'd be the first ones to be talking about black men are cheaters. Let me tell you something. Black men don't cheat.
Oh, my God.
That is listen, black men don't cheat. Juneteenth. Look, all I'm saying is,
what do black men don't
hold on.
to do with it?
Hold on.
I understand.
He's
as long as he explored his sexuality as a black man being, gay, that's okay.
He's not gay. Apparently.
Yeah, that was weird. That was the part that was confusing.
So this is my problem.
Are their avatars different or something?
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
Let me break this down. So me and you, we're friends, right?
Yeah.
You like video games, right?
Yeah.
You like to play online, right?
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of playing going on online. What happens is, what if we were able to have this virtual reality system that taps into our nervous system? So not only can we virtually see everything and be in real time, but we can feel everything as well. So me and you enter into this video game called Striking Vipers. And we start to play this fighting game. Me and you are tussling, you doing combos, beat me up, I'm doing combos, beating you up. Next thing you know, we're rolling around on the ground fighting each other. I grab you behind, you stick your tongue in my mouth. Wow.
Grab my ass.
Because apparently I'm not gay.
And here's a bigger question than all of that. Why, you know who's at fault for this? The programmers. Why was your game even allowed to go that far in a fighting game?
Okay, Sassy, now you bring up what Kurt's issue is of the game. Let me tell you something. As a cis hetero male, I don't want a video game where not only can you knock me out, but then you can poop me after. Look. No. There was no consent.
He kissed them and they was like, oh, wait, no.
He didn't ask to be kissed. He kissed them. That means somebody in the game could rape you.
No, you can't leave. They say in the game.
But if I didn't know how to leave, here I am being raped.
Well, they can start.
How did this go so far off?
Because all I'm saying is,
now
when you
talking about male virtual rape.
Yes.
From a beautiful love story.
He
about two friends.
No, it was not a love story. First of all,
feelings for it.
Y'all killed me.
Safe medium.
Was there no? That was a safe medium. They were punching each other and sleeping. They were not involved.
Somebody to stop me.
Look, oh my goodness, yo! If y'all in the comments, Dante said it's a friendship story. Really, Don? Really? You're a gamer and a streamer, so you
Did you say snake handling?
Okay, so Don is our producer. If you don't know, it's Don the Magic Wand on the ones and twos. Don, are you telling me that while you're gaming with your best buddy and he goes to grab your cheeks, you're gonna explore your male sexuality?
No.
All right then.
His avatar's a girl.
First of all, this dude said he was gonna poop the polar bear. This dude has already gone to sleeping with the virtual polar bear.
He just had some hornballness going on.
He was like trying to recreate the sensation.
He didn't care what it was.
He was trying to find something that would fill that gap. That was
what I would have done. Stop playing and talk to the boy.
Yo, wait a minute. Hold on, Don, you gonna talk to him? Wait a minute.
He was going to give him the benefit of the doubt to explain himself.
We gonna stop.
No.
Hold on.
Remember,
You're telling me.
over 20 years.
Don.
That doesn't matter.
Don.
He left the first time. He was scared. They was scared the first time, and they was like, "Oh, we're getting stuck back for a minute."
Before they went.
First off, Addison made the comment.
He
They
said,
struck
"Doesn't
vipers.
matter."
Right now, it's like doesn't matter. Had sex.
Listen.
But they've been friends for so long.
So of course there's sexual tension. Do you have a friend over 20 years? Do you have a friend that's over 20 years?
Oh yeah.
Do you have sexual feelings for him?
No.
Are you sure?
Very.
Would you like to play a video game to find out?
You said, "Would you like to play?" Brother, this ain't Saul. Would you like to play a game? No.
Listen, all I'm saying is, and what scared me, it wasn't so much, these are two grown consenting men, come to terms with whatever your sexuality is, and they did. They got to the point. My thing is, why did you have to use the new Black Captain America and Black Manta? Why? Why, Sway? Why did you have to use America's behind getting bent over?
So, actually, he was the one doing the bending over number.
Are you sure?
Yes, he was the male character.
Yeah, but no. I'm talking about in real life.
Well, they ain't doing it over.
Why did y'all both go,
Because then it would have been a difference. But the thing
listen, if it wasn't just, first of all, if it was just a sexual thing, but there was a lot of intimate moments here where he was striking his hair. And I mean, they were whispering sweet nothings.
I didn't understand that though, because they wouldn't do it face to face. They were like, "Wait, bro," and then all of a sudden they're in this game, and now they're all like emotional. I didn't really understand.
What I love is
they could be free. They had a space where they felt like they wouldn't be judged.
The best thing about Striking Vipers was the explanation of a man experiencing what it's like to be in a woman's body. He was like, it was like a musical performance, but you only have a guitar and I have the whole orchestra. And I died laughing. I was like, that is a great way to explain it to another person, what it is from a male perspective. Now, mind you, groundbreaking, yes. Modern, definitely. Was I ready for that? No. I'm like, yo.
They should have wanted some small text saying that warning, you may be slightly emotionally damaged afterwards.
Well, I'm not emotionally damaged. It just of all the Black Mirrors, I thought it was the least well written one. And I'm not even.
You like that less than the one where they're being chased by the mechanical dog in black and white?
Yeah, I did. And mind you, it's got nothing to do with the sexuality of the two people. I just didn't think it was very well written because.
It was a weird game choice that they picked.
For me, I hate awkward moments in any form of media because awkward moments always makes me off-putting. When he was sitting at that dinner table,
but that's part of the artistry to confront the.
But things like sex. So, are you saying you get like secondhand embarrassment or something like that? Because I get that from watching people bomb on stage when they don't know how to perform, and then I'd be like, and then I get embarrassed and I don't want to look at it because I just don't want to.
It's cringeworthy.
Embarrassment.
That's what it is. It's called being cringeworthy. Like none of the when they were getting it in and all, I was like, all right, this really isn't my speed, but whatever. But my thing was, what was cringeworthy was when they were sitting at the dinner table and he was arguing with them like he was his girl. Like, am I this woman you just keep it? Like, you just gonna keep me sick? And I'm like.
It got deeper.
Bro, it didn't. They didn't keep. No, see,
I didn't mean to use that term.
But the thoughts and views of Javier from genuinely, it transcended sexual things because they always portray us as these sexual beasts. Like all we want to do is poke something all day, and then they discovered they had an emotional connection. And then they tested that emotional connection on the outskirts of the video game where they got together and Black Manta and Captain America kissed.
That was Black Manta.
Yeah, thank you. Why are you? And by the way, the young lady that was in the Striking Vipers, the avatar was Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. All I'm saying is,
Avengers going on.
So that's what she.
And I don't like to turn this into a black-white thing. I'm not trying to turn this into a black-white thing, but too many times. Black male masculinity is demeaned in certain instances, not necessarily as being a homosexual man. I know some homosexual men who are men, straight up and down. What they do in the bedroom is their business, but don't you approach them like they're anything less than a man because they will remind you that they're a man very quickly. All I'm saying is, in media, we are usually the test subjects, the guinea pigs for the taboo. And no matter how you view Striking Vipers, whether it's progressive, whether you agree with it, whether you don't agree with it, at the end of the day, we can all consensually say that it is a taboo subject. Otherwise, it would not be in the show, and it would not be thought-provoking. Yeah. Now, with that being said, I'm tired of us being the guinea pigs for all of this.
What are you talking about? They make movies where white guys are sleeping with white guys, exploring their sexuality. Hundreds of movies
6
just
degrees of
like
separation.
That. So what's the one where they just came out where they're like two young boys in like Italy or whatever?
Moonlight. All I'm saying is
Moonlight is groundbreaking because it's a story about men of color. White men have been doing this for years,
and that's fine.
So that doesn't. It's only taboo because you say it's taboo because it's black men, but
no, it's taboo. No. It's taboo because society deems it to be taboo.
But okay,
now don't say Kurt. It ain't Kurt saying it's taboo. I'm just telling you. I'm giving you the other side of the coin. That's what. If it wasn't taboo, why would it be in?
So what is demeaning to black? What is emasculating about black men loving each other?
What does emasculation mean?
It's like taking away things that make them masculine, making them seem weaker or inferior. And then, what is emasculating about two black men loving each other romantically or sexually?
Mm-hmm. I could give you a multitude of answers.
I'm waiting.
This is the part where Sassy puts her input in.
Go ahead, say, because I ain't got no problem saying.
So, let this be said. It is always gonna vary on how that person personally views it, because we could say that, like, for instance, with that dress, what was it, that dress, the white dress and the gold people? Some people were seeing it as being blue, and some people were seeing it as like a gold white. Depending on how you view it, it might look like that to you. But
you don't have to adopt another person. And you don't have to adopt another person's viewpoint.
Agree to disagree. Yeah, exactly. Because we're always going to have our differences, and that's what makes us all special.
You know I was about to jump in. All right. Listen, if you like striking vipers, cool. That's your business. If you didn't like striking vipers, cool. That's your business. All I'm saying is, for the mass majority of people, it was a very thought-provoking episode. It was all over social media, and a lot of people have a lot of different viewpoints on it. Now, you can feel one way or another about what I said about black masculinity.
If the game becomes available to you, are you going to play it?
What?
If the game becomes available in real life,
I ain't playing that multiplayer, I can tell you that.
I'm just saying.
I'm
playing a different game. Like something with cars, so can't nobody catch me anyway because I'm gonna be flying.
Up, down, down, left, left, right, right, A, B, select, stick me.
Oh my God. So excited.
Now, mind you, and Will Soto made a good point. He said he didn't have to take that role. I don't have a problem with an actor doing something out of his normal scope. I'm pretty sure Anthony Mackie was like, you know what? I've been Black. See, I'm about to play Black Falcon. I've been Falcon for this long. You know, I want to do something different.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie actually had the nerve to be on camera saying how he's being typecast and that they're taking
Anthony Mackie fan anyway.
That there's no longer actors, there's just roles. So he decided he was going to be something different.
What was it? It was like that Will Smith movie. What was it? That old movie where he had kissed that one guy and they made like a really major big deal to everything. That movie. Will Smith starred in that, and it was a movie I did. Yeah, that was
6 Degrees of Separation.
That's what it was.
6 Degrees of Separation. Right.
I'm not old enough. Yeah, that was a major big deal to everybody.
What's wrong with you? The guy's like, you kissed me. Will was like, okay, so I kissed you. Kiss you again. And he just did it. I was like.
And everybody was just caught off guard.
Well, and so I'm going back to my point. Look, doggone it. All I'm going to say is this. My problem is, it's not the fact that he went to explore his sexuality with this other man. It's the fact that he was a married man.
Okay.
And then
breaking the confines of marriage.
But that's not emasculating.
Well,
in your opinion, have you ever been a married man?
Well, hold on. The beginning of the episode, he's been like that. He knew when Bo was having the one night stand when they was dating, he didn't care whether she was in the bed. He said, yo, come over and play. Come on and play. He wanted to spend time with him irregardless of whether she was there or not. I've always been dismissive of any girl he was with. The feelings were always there.
I don't know how you read all that in the Striking Vipers. That
wasn't even detailed enough in the beginning.
Our friends have always been that way.
Don, if you have some repressed feelings that we need to talk about after the show with Striking Vipers, I hear the whole time. All right, Sassy.
We have to talk about an important special event in today's today's day that we have not mentioned yet, and I have a problem with it.
Sassy has already given me the Kurt get off this subject now Negro face, and I'm okay with that. After I let y'all know that black families are being destroyed. And
anyway.
Black men don't cheat, y'all. Black men don't cheat. Every black is a liar. In other news, today happens to be a special occasion across the nation as everyone celebrates Juneteenth.
Yes.
Sassy, could you tell us what Juneteenth is?
Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy Juneteenth. So, as you may or may not be already aware, Juneteenth is an important day that I don't know why it's not on the calendar as of yet. Well, it's on the calendar, but it's not exactly respected as being a national holiday, and it should be, because this is the day as of, that would be June the 19th of 1865, which was technically 1863, that slavery was finally abolished.
Tell them again, Sam.
But the only thing is, the 63 comes in because that's when it was originally said, and some of us did not get the notice.
The ones in Texas.
Yeah,
that were in Texas.
Yes. Proclamation was signed in 1863, but there were still slaves across the country, most notably the ones in Galveston, Texas, who didn't find out for 2 years that it had been ratified and that they were actually free to go.
Exactly, which is terrible because I can only imagine how I would have went off if people came up and asked,
"Wait a minute, I ain't had to pick this
what you doing out here? Like, you still picking stuff?" And I'm like, "What you talking about?" And they just like, "Oh, you ain't here. Like, Master set us free like 2 years ago. I've been getting a farm and all of this
Well,
other
actually,
stuff."
the Union soldiers were going from plantation to plantation, making sure that every slave.
You can't let me have my funny joke moment of us being like black person to black person.
I was worried that you were serious.
That? No.
That's why I was like, let me correct.
I'm not serious. Right, this is kind of like a jokey joke. Like, you're crossing by the field while you picking, and then all of a sudden they just looking at you like, "What you doing?" And you still in here
picking cotton.
I would have run up in the house. I'd be like, "What?" So this is what we do. I probably end up already did then at that point before I got to enjoy my freedom.
Well, I don't know if they would kill you before you get to enjoy your freedom, baby. You're free now. I think
they would have.
We's free.
Yeah, we free right now.
Tell it to all the slaves.
Like, we're free right now. We still got a lot of work to do, but it's better than being out in the hot sun, because I don't like that.
What, Sassy?
Or in my case, in somebody's house, because I also don't like that either.
I was going to say, we a little less. Surely would have been.
No, seriously. For a lot of people, being in the house was worse than being in the fields, because you had the scrutiny of Massa sitting up in the house, and Massa's wife, and Massa's family. And typically, our sisters that were relegated to the home were repeatedly raped and
raped anywhere.
abused.
Outside.
True.
And then had your child snatched away from you too after the fact. It was just like, no.
But we're not going to focus on slavery,
but
y'all.
Yes, we're not, because that's not what this is about. This is about being in celebration and happy that we're free. I feel like we need to do our part in the black community and spread that word out there, and even in the Hispanic community too, that we are now free.
Because they didn't know.
On this, as of this day, we were free. Yes, and this was a celebration day.
Well, interesting enough, a lot of people, a lot of African Americans aren't familiar with Juneteenth because they only know the 4th of July, which is America's Independence Day.
Well, I just found out.
Brainwashery.
Well, I don't even know that.
Texas does celebrate.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about as a whole. As a matter of fact, I only became aware of Juneteenth last year.
I found out 2 years ago from Atlanta.
Oh, Blackish, yeah. Wow. But see, because now it's become mainstream media, and even now, like Pennsylvania and more importantly Philadelphia have now made it an actual holiday.
More black people are becoming more and more aware of our actual history, and it's not necessarily people are taking the onus upon themselves to become more educated about our culture and our background, both in this country and in the countries where we came from. It sort of became more of a movement, that Juneteenth is this thing and it belongs to us, and we deserve this moment, sort of
embrace it.
Yeah, and I liken it to like the whole Christopher Columbus versus the Indigenous Peoples Day. Like, I want to see Christopher Columbus Day be destroyed.
Well, actually, it's interesting. Sassy posted something, and I happen to like. She's got to have it too. And Mars is one of my favorite people. But there's a character on She's Got to Have It where he was standing in Puerto Rico and he was explaining how Christopher Columbus. He's lauded for finding and helping discover these places, but he was really lost. And it was the Taino Indians that actually went out into the ocean and pulled him in and was like, look, bro, where are you going? And then unfortunately for helping him, what he did was he cut their hands off and subjugated them.
Stole their gold, sold them into slavery.
Once he like, what happened was he did get there. It did help him. But he realized that there was lots of gold. He went back, told his people, yo, there's lots of gold there. He came back with more ships. And just straight up thugged them. He just thugged the entire island.
He cut their hands off. He stole their gold.
And because of the stolen gold he flooded the market. The price of gold went way, way down. One of the most profitable trades at that time that rose because of that was the African slave trade.
Well, and there's a lot of things about the pirate Christopher Columbus. No, I'm dead serious. I should never the pirate Christopher Columbus. But what it is it's like Tef said, it's dispelling fact from fiction and really relegating what is real history versus what is how do I say it? What is conqueror history? And if you know what conqueror history is, it's history is told by winners. So if I'm this tyrant and I win, of course, when you write the history books, I'm going to always put myself in a positive light. But the real truth of the matter may not always be discovered. Only now are people starting to either adapt or discover the real history. I wasn't taught about Christopher Columbus. I mean, the true story about Christopher Columbus in high school and middle school.
It took a long while to find out.
Thank goodness for Wikipedia. I'm just saying, like, now with information so prevalent everywhere, ignorance is willful now. For most people, it's willful.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I take that back. I found out when I was in, 10th grade, due to my great teacher, if he ever sees this, Mr. Pfeiffer, you know who you are, from John Bartram. He was the best history teacher ever. He was a white man, but he was a very down-to-earth white man that kept it very blunt and truthful. And he broke it down and was like, he used some very descriptive language. It was hilarious explaining this, but it was very true. And I'm like, oh, so that's what happened all the time, because I'm just now finding this out.
Sometimes it's frustrating when you actually find out what the real history. I always talk to people about this. It's the void that only African Americans can really understand. The void between what happened before generationally and when you were born, because there's no history. When they do when they have St. Patrick's Day and the Irish families get together, they can go back. They can track back a lot of stuff, even though they were indentured servants here and they were also subjugated people here, and they were a part of slavery, but not the way we were. But they still have a history to draw on.
And part of them getting out of slavery was them putting black people down to make themselves.
Well, I'm not bashing the Irish, but what I'm saying is they have a history that they can draw back on. Those Asian people that come over, they migrated over by choice. And they have a history that because they can go back to their country. We don't even know where to start looking. Like, you can do that 23andMe, you can do the African ancestry, and all they can do is tell you where now. But the sad part is, where they carve up Africa and the countries that they say that wasn't the case back then. So we will never have that lost history. So now all you can do is adapt African American history now and make it your own and develop your own personal identity. You are now the pioneer and the founder of your own legacy and your family's legacy. And that's one of the things that I felt was like important about a situation like this, because really our legacy starts from the minute we touch ground and you're documented as a slave. That's where we usually can track our history back to. Now, unfortunately, my particular family, we've tracked our history back a little bit further. Alex Haley also did it in Roots, which was a chronicalization of tracking their family all the way back to African history. That's great if you can do that. For the large part of most of our people, and when I say our people, I don't mean, I believe loving the entire human race, but for African Americans, we have the sad distinction of not having something to draw back on to know who we are as human beings or our family. Because for the large part, they were counted as cattle. They didn't even get names. When they documented their names in the book, it was Black Buck, Black Wench, and they were written off. So you can't even go back into the history and know the names of your family. We don't even have our own names. My name is Curtis Brown. That's not my name. That was the name of the man that probably owned my family, or my family came up with that name based off the slave master when they freed themselves and they chose their own names.
And most of the time it was came up. My great grandmother, as a matter of fact, her mom had a name, her sister did not. And she was the only one that could write. She couldn't read. Like, she couldn't read, but she could write enough that she wrote what was happening. And she said, we gave the book to Smithsonian actually, and most of her stuff. She wrote, my sister has no name, I have a name, Frank. And her mom's name was Mary. It was Mary Harris.
Well, and that's what it is. I mean, for the large part, most of us who have Americanized names or names that I couldn't even tell you what we would name ourselves.
Yes.
You know, Ladinian Thomason, right?
Yeah. Oh, please don't bring up that. Because
he loves his last name.
Well, no, that's not how he said it. He said he thanks the slave master for giving him his last name.
What? Ooh, who said
that?
That's not helpful.
I'm not even going to get that level of ignorance is between.
We're not going to feed into it.
Because you know what we are going to feed into? One of the greatest things that ever came out of being an African American is we still had them tribal drums beating in our hearts. Mm-hmm. We put it to a dope rhyme and a fat beat, put it on a track, and we came up with what's called today as hip hop. We're about to get a little bit into hip hop because we have my man who's the front runner for.
That's Real Rap.
Yeah.
Javier, tell us a little about That's Real Rap because it's going to be debuting soon.
Yeah, it's hip hop based, but more so. We're gonna bring out all businesses, mostly hip hop, mostly artists, R&B singers, hip hop rappers, all types. But just businesses in general. You're a producer, come out. You make your own food, come out. Whatever it is that you do, I want to be able to help everyone and give a platform for everyone, especially within Philly, because there is no platform for us. Where can you go right now to say, hey, I have talent, help me? Mm-hmm. New York has it. Florida has it, Cali has it, Philly don't. We have to go to New York and try to make it somewhere there.
No, facts. And Philly has a bad reputation for not supporting other Philly artists.
It's a Philly, and that's where brotherly love comes from. A lot of people don't understand what brotherly love means. You think brotherly love and you're like, there's no brotherly love in that city. No one loves each other. You're my brother, I'm gonna beat your ass. Every single day. But let somebody else touch you, I got your back to the fullest. Yeah. That's brotherly love.
That's Philly.
When has anybody ever sat there and said, hey, somebody from Jersey's coming at you, they always got your back, even if they're your worst enemy.
Oh, yeah.
So That's Real Rap is going to consist of what type of topics?
Pop culture, a lot of hip hop, a lot of Philly-based New Jersey, within the tri-state area. Just small businesses, food, artistry.
So y'all gonna eat good.
Yeah, everything.
All right, that means I'm gonna stop through for a plate.
Listen, there's people gonna come out and they're just gonna cater everything for us.
And who are you doing the show by yourself? Do you have?
I actually have my sister Divine. She's actually on the other show, The T.
Boom. Big shout out to the ladies of the T, which will also be debuting here as well, right after That's Real Rap. But continue. And who else do you have?
I also have my cousin Buddha, and then I also have my brother Bam. He'll be on the show here and there, along with a couple other guests throughout the weeks.
All right, we looking forward to it. Right now, I know we're trying to find a good time slot for you guys to try to situate it. I guess that'll be based on what works for y'all. But what was the last thing we talked about?
Thursday. Thursday probably be the best time.
All right, y'all. Well, listen, y'all already know. Tune in We'll let you know when it debuts, and I'm almost 100% positive that Hobbs got something special cooking up for y'all. But we're gonna get a little.
You like freestyles?
You want
freestyle rap? No.
I was about to say we gonna drop a beat. Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't be embarrassing yourself for in here like that.
You ain't never lied. I already put out a video with me rapping terribly.
So the show's gonna be weekly. It's not gonna be every day or anything like that. It's gonna be weekly. So we can't really do like a freestyle Fridays, especially for on Thursdays.
Right.
So we are gonna keep it still to Bone Thugs. Much respect. First of the month.
First of the month freestyles.
So it's the first show of the month. It's going to be dedicated to freestylers, and we're going to have a whole bunch of different competitions, and we're going to do it big. It's a lot of surprises that I can't really get into.
Good. I got you. Listen, if you're a talented artist out there, you happen to know one in the Philadelphia area or the tri-state area, y'all need to go and put him in touch with my man Hob. Make sure that y'all go to That's Real Rap Facebook fan page. Go like the page right now. After the show.
Instagram as well, That's Real Rap.
Yeah. And that's what I'm about to say. Where can they check y'all on social media? So Instagram and Facebook, right?
We have That's Real Rap _official. We also have That's Real Rap on Facebook.
On Facebook, right.
We have other social medias, but we haven't really put it out there yet.
Got you. You're getting everything ready.
Yep.
So look, y'all, if y'all know somebody with some talent and they looking to be put on, or they're looking for a platform or a vehicle to try to get their name out there, have them get in contact with Javier. They can even email Javier at mixedmediarevolution@gmail.com. That's mixedmediarevolution@gmail.com, and they can go ahead on and send a tape, a demo, or whatever, SoundCloud, and we'll forward it.
It's not even just only rapping. It's not only singing. You cook. Show me what you got. You draw, you paint, show me what you got. Let's put you on a platform to show everybody your artistry.
Okay, I'm with this.
Whatever your art is.
Well, you let me know when somebody making cheesesteaks so I can come in.
Oh, well, that's going to be my mom. I'm going to try to send her a beer and cheesesteak, lady.
I heard your mama can cook from what I hear.
Yes, very well.
She ain't never made me a plate.
Platter thing, but
she ain't made me a plate.
She hasn't hit up.
Well, where you at? You ain't been over there.
Oh, well, you ain't tell me to come through.
Oh, well, you had that discussion with her.
She said,
but either
got nothing
way.
to do with me. All right, so you know what? Let's give them a taste of what I keep saying That's Real Rap is all about, because I always want to say MTV Raps. And we're going to talk about hip hop over the years and how it's influenced society as a whole. I'm an 80s baby. Hip hop actually started in the 70s, mid 70s to late 70s, depending on who you talk to. Hip hop's origins grew out of New York. And here you go. Don, the only New York boy, but hip hop.
That's the only time I love New York. When it comes to the birthplace of
look, go ahead, bro. Take over, because this is your lane.
I grew up in more 90s hip hop. I was born in '89, so I know the older. But I was more 90s, more DMX, Jadakiss, LL Cool J. You grew up Rakim and everybody else, so.
Because our resident old head.
I got Nas, Jay-Z,
Uncle Kurt. Grandpa Kurt.
I'm born in 1982, so I was there for the inception of hip hop. As a matter of fact, in 1981, that's when Sugar Hill came out with Rapper's Delight. It said a hip hop, the hip to the hip hop, and you don't stop or rock it to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump boogie to the rhythm of the boogity beat.
That's an amazing time though, man.
Scooby Doo Bebop, and Scooby Doo. Well, guess what? America, we love you.
DJs at that point.
Well, and that's what it was. Back in the day, DJs used to run everything. They were the party rockers. That's why Kool Herc and all them dudes, like in New York, what it was you go to the basement party. The DJs were the feature. They were the ones doing the mixing, the scratching, and they were doing the blends. And the MC was just to be the bridge in between the breaks.
He would kill you.
If you saw the Get Down, you kind of get the concept of what the MC. But then the MC became elevated and started to take a more prominent role, to the point where really your mainstream breakout MCs would have to be Run DMC. Because they're the ones that transcend national fame. Listen, you can talk about Curtis Blow.
At the time, that was the guy.
I get you. You can talk.
The first deal ever.
But nobody's going to listen. But when you talk about hip hop, mainstream, and this is a good discussion because tell me what you think. When you say pioneers of hip hop that made it mainstream, who would you say did it? Now this is 80s, 70s, 80s.
See, for me, my hip hop would have to say LL was my biggest.
All right, so don't tune in to That's Real Rap because apparently these people don't know what they're talking about.
This is my generation. After.
Come on, Grandpa Kurt.
Come on now. Who says LL is the pioneer of hip hop?
So
Go ahead, Ty. Because you're about to say something crazy too, ain't you?
I won't say pioneer.
I'm talking. No. Look, the question is, who made hip hop mainstream across the board? Who would you give that credit to? Obviously, multiple people did it, but if I had to pick one person who made hip hop mainstream across the board,
I don't think there's one person you can say.
But I'm giving you the job. The question is, I know there's multiple people, but if you had to pick one to give the most credit to, who would you give it to? Run DMC, y'all. That's exactly it.
I was just about to say that. I was like, Run DMC. It made me think of I Walk This Way with Aerosmith.
First of all, they're the first rap group to ever air on MTV. They're also the first rap group to do a hit song with a rock group. They're also one of the first rap groups with a sneaker deal.
Okay, I won't argue with that logic.
No, let me put my glasses on.
But Kurt,
What you got to say, old man?
I'm saying because one, that was what.
I don't know who that guy is.
I'm gonna say Curtis Blow. This is why. Curtis Blow made it so that these guys can actually have record deals.
Yeah.
You gotta understand too. Reason why we had that culture, that underground culture, because nobody would give these guys a deal. Nobody would give these guys airplay. The only way you could hear these guys were to go to these parties. Curtis Blow made them. He made them take the risk to go.
Name me 3 Curtis Blow hits.
Basketball.
Exactly.
Wait, that basketball. Like,
basketball was one.
Give me quickly. If he's as grandiose as you says, and I'm not taking nothing from Curtis Blow, because being named Curtis in the '80s with Curtis Blow, I have a real problem with the guy.
Business-wise, he opened the door for.
Really, name me 3 songs.
The Breaks.
Oh no, you Googling. Get out of here. So you know what?
I know because I couldn't remember the name of it. I was saying it.
No.
Talking about that.
But he also put rappers on commercials too. He was the first rap commercial.
Agreed.
He opened this door for them.
Do we have a Curtis Blow commercial? I think we have a Curtis Blow commercial. Matter of fact, play a Curtis Blow commercial.
That sounds like
Wait a minute, hold on, real quick. Out of respect for Curtis Blow, who was a pioneer.
First commercial.
The latest trends, you got to know what's out and what's in. Talking about the taste of one that's right. Now more than ever, it's right. Lemon taste and lime taste. Great lemon taste is tough. Without lemon, it's not happening. So sorry, 7-Up. Now that's the trend. So tell it to a friend. We're chilling out with the taste that's in. Now more than ever. Now more than ever, it's right.
Are we back? All right, listen, look.
We're talking about for advertisement, for big blow.
We talking about hip hop's influence on mainstream.
DJ Kool Herc.
Right.
He was the original of the breakbeat.
Right. I'm not taking nothing away from the pioneers, but remember what we were talking about today.
You can't get more mainstream than being on TV, being on daytime TV, doing commercials and stuff like that.
But yet, no, honestly,
that was an evening commercial.
Right. My thing with Curtis Blow is, yes, he made hip hop popular. Remember, Rapper's Delight was solid. But guess what? Name me one person from Rapper's Delight that's in the group. I mean, name me one person out of Sugar Hill Gang. See? No. Wonder Mike. How do y'all not know what? I'm Wonder Mike. Yeah, that's right. And that's
like the heavy ball.
That's all I'm saying. If they're mainstream and they're impactful, you don't go. Kevin Hart calls them finger snap famous. You're
Yeah.
Right. You don't do that with people like that. If you show a picture of Curtis Blow right now, I bet you half the people in the room wouldn't even recognize who he was. But you put a picture of Run DMC up.
That's not fair because I don't think half of these young artists today would know who he was, and they owe
because they're garbage
lives to him,
like Tyler the Creator.
So we're not going to keep bringing up his names because that man went through a whole great deal of transition, and then not only did he do that, he brought up other people who are good artists out there now. And we like, who
I just knew that would wake you up.
That's where he came from.
I just wanted you to wake up.
Bye.
His generation is the best. Everything else sucks.
Yeah, because he's a grandpa.
Now wait a minute. Now we have a comment from Will Soto, all the way from Phoenix. Much love to my man Will watching, always a long-time fan of the show. He says all of this was due to Russell Simmons, who is the brains behind Run DMC. Right, because originally Rev Run, DMC, and Jam Master Jay were always the little kids, and he actually put them on. I mean, Russell Simmons is the head of Def Jam.
But he was going out, getting them for parties and all that, so he was literally, doing all the headway for that,
So, I mean, would you say that it was all hip-hop's foundation was skyrocketed by Russell Simmons solely? Would you put it on his shoulders, or is it the artist?
It's the artist.
It's the art.
Russell.
No.
I mean, he had the hustle behind the scenes for sure, but without
I can tell you how to sell your
talent.
paintings, but if you can't paint, there ain't nothing you're doing.
But there's a lot of non-painters he put on them.
Well, I put it like this. There's a lot of famous painters. If we're using a painting analogy, there's a lot of famous painters that are only famous because you had good brokers that got them in front of enough wealthy people that enjoyed it. Now, quality is quality. I'm with you, Hav, in the fact that you can't be famous if you don't have a product. A broker needs a product, and it has to be a good product. And at the time, Run DMC was doing things lyrically that they had not seen. Like I said, you don't get a feature with Aerosmith.
Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier, it's that thing when somebody comes up with something and they're the first people to come up with it, but then the disadvantage that they're at is that other people get to see what they did and what they could have did better, and then they go do it, and now they're like the big thing because they had time to build it and shape it a little better.
And one of the things that I love about it is because I'm an 80s baby, don't get it twisted, we are the very bedrock, the very foundation of this thing called hip-hop, because we brought hip-hop to the movies. You know why I can say that? Because I got some hip-hop movies that all y'all should know, and if you don't know it,
be a grandpa when
don't worry, we'll get to the 90s, we'll get to your 90s and your 2000s, but if you don't know about breaking, play that for them.
Party people in the place to be. This is what you've all been waiting to see. Electric Boogaloo, the ultimate show with Kelly, Ozone, and Turbo. Electric Boogaloo is breakdance too. Yes, ooh. Hi. Electric Boogaloo's action dance, the best you'll get. If you like breakdance when you ain't seen nothing yet.
I'll finish you, your friends, and your whole damn neighborhood.
This time there is an enemy, so they must unite. Because to say what you believe in, sometimes you must fight.
You lost your edge.
Try me.
Electric Boogaloo's the greatest, nothing can compete. And once you've seen this movie, you'll believe in the beat. Another good one from Canon.
Then we got Grandpa here trying to relive his glory days when he used to be able to move smoother than that.
Isn't that
I wish y'all could hear them joints creaking from here.
Respect your elders.
It's okay, Grandpa.
Yo, Shabba-Doo was one of the first Dominican First Dominican people to ever be featured in a movie, especially about hip hop. He was originally a Soul Train dancer. My man Turbo. It was like one of the first times. Now, mind you, that was a trailer from Breaking 2. That's the one that I saw, and that's the one that I like. I wasn't a big Breaking fan, but it just goes to show you how hip hop started to creep into the movies. And one of the cool things about it is once they made money from these low budget movies and they became profitable, that's what opens the door for other movies. And one of those other movies, we're gonna play that trailer real quick.
Oh, okay.
Listen, it's one of the most genius things because one of the things about Berry Gordy, and if you don't know, Berry Gordy was the head of Motown. Berry Gordy always understood that if you have a product and you make a new product, you cross market. So if you sell glass cups and you have a soda product, you put your soda product inside that glass cup and sell both of them at the same time. Well, Berry Gordy was a music producer and then became a filmmaker. And then he came out with this.
Mr. Leroy? Mr. Leroy! Are you in here?
Sorry, miss. I didn't mean to scare you that bad.
That's all right. Is it Mr. Leroy here?
No, he's not here, but, how about something in a medium-sized Oriental?
Oh, no thanks. I'm not Jewish. Wow. Oh, is this where he does all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, I thought too.
Oh, that's really wonderful.
Yep.
Well, you see, I'm on my way back to, Kew Gardens.
Oh.
You gotta tell Mr. Leroy that he better stay away from Seventh Heaven.
Why?
Because of my former producer, associate, and boyfriend, Eddie Arcadian. He's gone crazy.
Well, either way, that was The Last Dragon. I'm not quite sure what clip that was, but if you know The Last Dragon, that basically set off a cascade of different hip-hop and different movies that kind of built out of the 80s. Now, we're moving out of the 80s.
Yay!
You can tell what era, you can tell what era they were born in.
So the thing with the 90s though is like, what part of the 90s are we talking?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We talking boom bap? We talking?
Well, you tell me.
It's up to y'all at this point. What are you a fan of from the 90s?
I'm a fan of.
So give me an artist when you think.
What is it? Wu-Tang Clan. I love them. Who else? The Lost Boys. Who else? See, let me go in my stuff because I got a lot of bunch of stuff in here by playlist.
See, now the 90s is more my lane because I was.
Oh, duh! A Tribe Called Quest. How could I forget to mention them? That was like the biggest one that I care about out of all.
I've actually seen Tribe Called Quest in concert, and let me tell you something. I saw Tribe Called Quest in the Leaders of the New School. And let me tell you something. That seeing Busta Rhymes before he went solo on the Leaders of the News, PTA, and I mean Scenario, all that stuff, because they all intermingled, and it was really like when using features. And Busta Rhymes was he just had this voice that when he spoke, you listen. Tip had that smoothness that when he spit, it was just something different that you didn't hear.
Yeah, like poetry.
Right, exactly. And that kind of gave that that Afrocentric flavor of that time. As a matter of fact, speaking of which, I totally forgot we were supposed to do the Juneteenth anthem. Oh, that's all right. Well, before we get out of here, we'll end the show on the Juneteenth anthem. That's how we'll do it.
Yay!
I wanted to more talk, so since this is, head nerds in charge, how music and hip hop and comic book movies, video games,
anime,
anime, it's become such a more bigger thing where you see Kendrick and SZA have their Black Panthers play.
Yeah, that was the whole album. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Right.
You have Post Malone and Sway Lee for the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse.
Facts, because the soundtrack to that.
Song is crazy.
Well, even in Red Dead Redemption, they had, I forget who it was that did songs for it. I think it was Kendrick, but I have a great example of video games and hip hop colliding. Don, if you could be so kind as to play that particular video for the people. Oh, when you see it.
Oh man.
Dude, you talking about? Yeah.
I hope it's not what I think it is.
Fight for New York. Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah, 2005.
Huh.
2005. 2005, sir.
Oh, was it really? Was it the 90s?
No, sir.
But that's he said basically geek and hip hop culture. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, still had the basketball game though.
Nah, play that Death Drum.
Want some 2007, man?
Just play it.
Alright.
That nigga hard headed. He don't listen. Yeah. You can't have grown up in the 90s and the 2000s and not played that game.
Yeah, I played it.
Anyone in the chat right now who saw that right now and did not get excited,
facts.
Leave.
You're not alive.
All two of you.
You're not alive. And one of the best parts is because that's like one of the first times you got to see all your favorite hip hop artists. I always use Ghostface Killer because I love that he had the golden eagle on his arm. Ghostface was my favorite character to use. I'm not sure, what was your favorite character?
Penny. I don't know who she was, but I just like Penny.
You know what? What about you, Taff?
Foxy Brown.
Foxy. Who?
DMX.
Oh, what? Let's go with
barking at you while we fight.
Come on. I forgot Bubba Sparks was in this game. I completely forgot.
In this game.
Yo,
and
Freeway. Yeah. Yo, we had that Philly representation up in there. Yo, and the sad part is because the sequel was trash.
Yeah.
The sequel was so trash.
If they were to do a new one.
If they did one for PS5,
I would play that. If they did a new one, and then Cardi B would be in it.
Oh,
and she would be
can fight her against Nicki Minaj.
She's so many people. It's gonna be hilarious. I don't want to be Nicki Minaj.
That's her finisher would be called the Yo, with everybody.
Here for that. I would buy that game.
Actually,
some lyrics.
Hey, hip hop artists, y'all need to get together and develop that.
Yeah,
like
maybe,
we want another.
we
want another Def Jam.
If you want some money, because I pay for it, I can buy a whole system.
You want that game to come out and you be able to play as these characters and feel everything they're feeling?
No, I don't want to be striking vipers. See, I knew he was going to go for that.
Start getting some of their like traumatized past in my brain. I don't want that.
Yo, my man Jermaine Rockmore, always longtime fan and favorite. He said nobody. Wait a minute, I gotta say it like he said it. He said nobody seeing me in Def Jam with DMX. He had to clap with it. Look, y'all don't understand. Def Jam Fight for New York was how you settle beefs back in the day. Hey yo, I got a problem. Oh, you got a problem? Square up, son. Say less. Turn on the PS4.
Right.
Get the gaming, yo. And Snoop Dogg was a G. And let me tell you something. They gave Snoop Dogg muscles. We saw Baby Boy. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, he was.
on the PS2.
Yeah. Oh, was it PS2?
Yeah, it was.
Wow, how long ago was it? Now, Addison brought up a good point. He also said John Singleton played an integral role in the 90s in hip hop. Remember, John Singleton gave Ice Cube his big break in Boys in the Hood. And that made Ice Cube into almost a household name because right after that, he did Friday. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but Friday is hip hop. All the way through and through.
It's a hood movie for sure.
Yo, and it's a hood
classic.
Look, I'm smacking it. No, because you got to quantify that. Tef, there's a difference between a hood movie and a
hood classic. Friday's
and the thing is, I don't consider them hood movies or hood classics. I call them hip hop movies and hip hop classics. People think hip hop movie and they're like, all right, just You Got Served and things like that. Hip hop is a culture in itself.
I wouldn't put You Got Served anywhere near hip hop. But that's me personally. That's me. No. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I can't stand that movie. But go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not doing
hip hop is the culture.
Right.
Yeah,
it is the culture.
You say Friday, those are classics. Those are hip hop classics.
I mean, someone who grew up in the hood, that's kind of where I'm from.
And that's why you relate so well to hip hop.
In the chat, Andre just jumped in. And I know you late. It's okay to be late. It's a colored show. We were late too. But he said Above the Rim, Sunset Park, New Jersey Drive. Listen, all of those are the soundtracks. I remember when oh my goodness. Come on, Kurt. Come on. MC Light did the soundtrack for Sunset Park. She did the joint. Keep on, keeping on, keep on. Oh, I can't. Don't get me to singing in this joint.
Yeah, but no, we don't want that.
Stop.
I don't want that.
Why you?
Anyway,
you shoot down my ludes. I can't sing. How am I going to make money?
I think they needed to be shot down.
Yes, agree with you. But soundtracks set the mood because the Friday soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
I had the soundtrack from Friday, and I mean Dr. Dre like put some bangers on that joint. Yeah. Keep your heads ringing. What? So I mean, you when you talking about
Do the Right Thing not count as?
Oh,
when I think of that, I always think Do the Right Thing because like just the whole ambiance, the whole vibe of the movie, like my thoughts about like the movie aside, like it kind of brings me back to that headspace.
Right.
I think for serious movies, Tupac did one of the right before Boys in the Hood. Wasn't Gridlock before? And that got crazy.
Yeah, when you talking about Tupac.
Poetic Justice was after.
But I know Gridlock is what got him.
I thought Poetic Justice came before Gridlock. Well, no. First of all, Above the Rim, because that was where he made his cameo.
Okay,
Above the Rim is what really set him off.
Also got.
But John Singleton always told hood stories. He told our stories. He Minister Society. Yeah. Minister Society is a hood classic, and it's almost identical to Boys in the Hood. As a matter of fact, it's what gave us Northerners a glimpse into California gangsta life. Because that's why West Coast music popped on the East Coast. What do you say?
He said tap dance, that's how you'll make it with Gregory Hines.
Listen, I actually have a video of me tap dancing with a very good friend of mine named Reggie Tapman. No, it's like on YouTube somewhere. We recreated the Bill Cosby Sandman challenge. for a comedy skit, and I didn't get paid for that. So no, tap dancing is not lucrative. But I did like that movie.
So if we pay you, will you do it?
I hate you. Higher Learning. We're getting away from tap dance. Higher Learning also had Busta Rhymes in it and featured Ice Cube. And now these guys went from being, and this is where we talking about branching off into other facets of media. They stopped being musicians and then they become multifaceted. Now they started becoming producers. And then producers, they became actors.
Like how high.
They were looking. They were looking for I want Tupac.
Because they already played the personas that they needed. Oh, this kid is a gangster. This kid is a gangster rapper. He lived it. A lot of them didn't live it. but they knew how to play. That's why a lot of these hip hop artists make great actors, because they doing it every day.
Yeah.
I.e. Tekashi 6ix9ine. Oh yeah, because I'm gonna grind up your generation. Even 21 Savage was like, I wish I rapped in the 90s. These other niggas is weird.
No, but that's not fair. Yeah, don't group them in with my generation, because our generation Z, them people, the little crazy kids that's running around outside now. Yeah, like no, our Lil Pump, all those people.
Little Pump, everything. Yo, when I was growing up, everything was big. Big Pun, Big Papa, Big L. Now it's Little Uzi, Lil Wayne, Lil Pump, Lil Booty Hole.
You used to be little when you was like, for instance, Bow or Romeo.
Lil Romeo,
because they were literally.
Listen, we liked everything with Big Daddy Kane. You know what I mean? Big Pun,
Big Sean.
Yeah. Oh, you ruined it. No, it's just. How would you say that there is a clear distinction between the '90s and the '80s and the 2000s to now?
Between every 10 years, 5 to 10 years.
I wouldn't wholly agree with that, me personally, because I feel like the 80s born what was brought to the 90s, because we came out of the crack epidemic.
And the 90s born into the 2000s.
No, they got weird in the 2000s, bro. Okay, give me 60 hard seconds to prove my point. Just 60 hard seconds, and I'll.
60 hard seconds.
Listen,
time it. The timer.
Ready? Tell me when to begin.
Okay, I'm about to pull the timer up.
1, go. In the 80s, we came out of the crack epidemic, which breeded all types of strife and problems and issues. That's where you got Fight the Power and all that other stuff, which then bled into gangster rap, because we, who were born out of the 80s, all we knew was that hood life, which was selling crack and this, that, and third. It was glorified. Then you got gangster rap in the 90s, and then it was crashed down. Now, once they had all this opposition to gangster rap, next comes the 2000s. And 2000s is where you start to debut your Jay-Z's, your Nellies, your Southern music, and your No Limit. And they start talking about being rich and getting money, and they're not talking about the crack epidemic. I was about to say, don't cut, but that's where the change happened. Next thing you know, they're wearing do-rags and stomping in the Air Force Ones and all.
So
they want
when you start your timer?
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is there is a. Oh, I had 47 seconds. I had time. Sassy treat. Look, I had 13. I had 13 good seconds, y'all. All I'm saying is your heroes was Cameron and Nelly. My heroes was Rakim and Run DMC and DMX.
Those were your heroes.
Yo, DMX is dark and hell is hot.
I like him too.
What?
Of course.
DMX put New York back on the map after Biggie died.
He saved lives.
And then 50 Cent came along and gave him a different flavor. Because 50 Cent's from Connecticut. Whoa, you feel like 50's a joke? He was a mixtape king.
I'm with Javier.
Fake. 50's fake.
Okay, quantify that for me. Why do you feel like 50 Cent's fake?
Why do you think he did so much work with Tekashi?
Well, that's because he just wants to be hot. 50 Cent's a troll.
No, exactly. 50 Cent's a troll. He's fake.
Yeah, I'm not really on board with this stuff he been doing.
I'm not. No. Because 50's an old man still trying to hold on. But my
Richie said but he trolled his whole fucking career.
I agree with you.
That whole beef with Ja Rule, like that whole thing.
He ruined it.
He do that to him. That was messed up.
M's friend.
See, and that's the stuff I don't like. I don't condone that.
Nowhere.
Like, don't knock on other black.
Addison said a new era starts when Biggie and Pac die. Now, those were linchpin artists, and I do agree. Once Pac, but see, it was different. When Pac died, you still had Snoop Dogg holding it down. You still had Big L holding it down.
But I think the tone of hip hop then changed. Like, it went from being less about like. Well, it also went from being about like we're fighting each other, we're fighting the system. That's when I feel like more of that
that party music. So Def and all them started coming up.
When they started coming out, and then it was we need to celebrate life and we need to celebrate it together.
Now, I don't mind that is a very good point because I don't mind that transition. But you know what was born out of that party phase?
Was the line dances?
Well, oh God.
Oh.
Yeah, lean with it, rock with it, lean with it. Whoa, yo, lean back.
No.
Lean back. Yeah.
That song was everybody in the store.
Oh,
you got
do the Dougie.
Bye. If you had a fat dance with it, teach me how.
But see, but we had the Tootsie Roll and the butterfly. But you know what really was born? What was born out of that party phase was, okay, let's party. Okay, let's party and drink up. Okay, let's party and smoke this weed. All right, let's party and do this line. Okay, let's party and drink this lean. All right, let's party and pop these pills. Now you start getting, you went from drug seller music to drug abuser music.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is in 10 years, everybody gonna be doing heroin?
I have no clue. Nah, everybody's gonna be playing Striking Vipers.
Oh yeah, well they might be doing.
We go full circle.
It's just like getting worse and worse and worse. But we always, I feel like every year had a thing of drug that they shouldn't have been doing. But I feel like the difference is now was that, like, for instance, when people found out how bad certain drugs were, that's when it stopped being glamorized. But for this generation, we're finding out how bad they are, and they're still doing them.
So now who was that? Like Future or Young Thug, whoever that came out was like, yeah, I stopped doing drugs like 2 years ago. But Future. But he was like, I didn't stop rapping about doing drugs because I didn't think people would buy my music.
Right, and it becomes marketable. We got some people on the line that made some good points. Stephen Jordan said each evolution gave a flavor that conflict with each other to a point, but later started to work with each other. Even stuff that came from Florida. Florida did drop some music where, I mean, hey, listen, how Rick Ross is not in your top 10? That's
Biggie was still out.
Yeah,
it was just gonna be a lot of breathing.
Yeah,
it was gonna be.
Addison brought up a very good point, which branches off into a whole nother genre of hip hop. He said beef stopped being territorial and started being personal between two rappers, and that's where battle rap. Remember that era of battle rap where Smack and URL was popping, and then you started getting the beats between Cannabis and LL, and you started getting the beats between 50 and Ja Rule, and then you started the beef between Nas
Z and Nas.
Woo,
I didn't even know that was a thing at first.
Let me tell you something.
I was like, what the? So I heard the song
Ugly,
and started looking into it.
Super Ugly and Ether are hands down one of the best two songs. Neither them together in that beef are classics. Like No Vaseline by Ice Cube talking about NWA is probably one of the best straight out diss songs.
You know, Mama Said Knock You Out, right?
Oh yeah,
that's a diss track.
I didn't know that either. But he sounded angry, so I was like, "Who was he so mad at?" So now you finally answered that question for me after all these years.
You don't even know that are diss tracks because you don't like get into it, you know. You just hear it as.
And then we had social media telling us like this person's mad at this person, and they just dropped this song about how they don't like them.
But see, that's what also changed the game. The advent of social media.
Because now it's about clout.
And Instagram likes.
But now we're talking about this generation, right? And you're like Lil Xan, Lil Pump, you know, all these rappers.
Lil Nas X, even though I like that kid.
You have to understand there's other rappers in the game. You're still missing Kendrick, J. Cole, Big Sean.
And J. Cole spoke on that. He said it best.
Listen, for anybody that does not know, me and Javier go back. We work together, and Javier used to come over to me with his iPod, and he'd be like, "Kurt, you don't listen to this guy and this guy and this," and then my old behind would be like, "Trash. I don't care about nobody's Kendrick.
Like you
I don't care about nobody's Tyler. I don't care about nobody's Logic. It's illogical. I don't care about nobody's Chance the Rapper.
I didn't even know who he was talking about. So he appropriating our culture, and then I'm
Logic
like,
is white.
He's mixed. So.
Is he mixed?
Yes,
because he looked like Massive.
I know he's been having. He talks about that avidly in his music. Actually, about his struggles with that. Yeah, every song.
Almost every song.
Well, I'm gonna just say this.
He gotta remind y'all because people be trying to play.
Because he does.
Where do you place at Eminem?
He look hella.
Where do you place? Because Eminem is single-handedly one of the most successful Caucasian artists in the hip hop game. He is the king of the Caucasus.
This is true. You said the Caucasus.
Because Vanilla Ice ain't touching them. What was the ones that did Pop the third base or whatever? Pop Goes the Weasel and nobody cares about MGK, but.
Yeah, Eminem made sure of that.
Yeah, facts. He's like, I'm gonna make you irrelevant. Where would you put Eminem in that realm? Because you got to talk about him if you talk about hip hop. I mean, where would you put him in? Is he in your top 5 of all time?
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Would Big Pun be the representative for all time for Hispanics?
As far as Hispanic rappers?
Yeah, totally. I'm talking about Mexican.
He doesn't have the longevity, but at the end of the day, there's not many.
Yeah, it's really not.
Because I was trying to think just.
Wait, Don, who
that are mainstream that we all know about.
Hold on. And this is what I love when people bring up. Hold on. No. This is what I love when people bring up Fat Joe. Name me 2, not 1, just 2 Fat Joe hits. I knew you would. That's why I always say 2. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you, but that's why I always say 2. I don't say name me a Fat Joe hit because everybody goes to lean back. Name me one more.
What else you want? Twins featuring Big Pun.
Right.
All I have R&B.
I was about to say that because all the Fat Joe songs I can think of were all featuring Big Pun.
Thank you.
He put Pun on.
So you named 1. We named 2 more, and they're all collaborative songs.
Right. Give me one. Just give me one more Fat Joe hit. That's just Fat Joe. That's it.
All the way up also did really good too. Still his.
Doesn't matter.
The best thing that Fat Joe ever did was lose weight. All right, so
I'm done with you.
and I think Jin, as far as Asian culture, Jin is probably the most notable battle rapper, but I can't really think of somebody who's Asian that in the hip hop game.
Wait, who's the one? Superstar.
Who? Hey, if you want to chat,
yes. Yeah. But does it count that they're not over here exclusively? Because I listen to a lot.
Oh yeah, no. I like Japanese trap music.
Well, I like their hip hop because some of them actually like M-Flow. It's a duo situation. Sometimes.
Well, actually put us on. Who should we look for?
So M-Flow is really good for Japanese hip hop culture. They actually collaborated with a group from over here called Ugly Duckling that I also like. They kind of had like that old school like 90s thing going on because that's when they came out also. Who else is it? What's it? Rhymestar. I like him.
I'm gonna say a name, but you can't laugh.
Yes.
Snaky Chan.
Is that really his name?
Yeah.
Snaky Chan? Oh, okay. So see, that's somebody that's local at least, because all of these people that I know of are like actually overseas.
I'm sorry, not to interrupt. Somebody mentioned Pitbull, but my thing with Pitbull is Pitbull always gets
party music.
And I don't mind the party music phase, but I wouldn't call him an MC. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
He's not like a rapper.
Hey, listen.
Suave.
Pitbull makes like party music, like rap.
I love Steph. Steph, like, y'all kids. Steph, y'all understand? Steph in the room, and she's still dropping stuff in the chat. She's like, y'all gonna listen to me. I'm about to put Steph on the mic. Vico C. Oh no, don't get hyped up. Look, if Steph ain't help you out, now you're like Vico C. Like, don't look at Steph. Get out of here. Nobody you.
I said, Winston Young said, oh yeah, Vico C, which is part of that crew. You got Kanye 13, which is another famous Spanish rap. Big boy.
Oh,
facts.
Oh, gasoline. That boy. Daddy Yankee.
Yo, Jose Rentas brought up the Digital Underground. Now, I mean,
Daddy,
you figure,
wait, Lupe Fiasco or
Fabulous Dominican.
Fabulous is Dominican? I didn't know that. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, well, he did.
I think he can't spell the word fabulous.
Fabulous. I'm a big fan of some of the artists today just for their ingenuity. I think somebody like a Soulja Boy does not get the necessary respect, not as an artist, but as a marketer. Yeah. Listen.
Because he played himself like a clown.
No. Guess what? You know what? If you actually, no. Hold on. If you go back and you actually look at what Soulja Boy did, he took an unknown platform and he went platinum. Do you know how hard it is to go platinum with a label? He made music that was catchy enough that social media now has become, without Soulja Boy, you would not have these artists being unafraid and unabated from going independent. No, seriously, he showed them you can become wealthy and push your own product. Back in the day, what did they used to do?
You don't need Diddy.
What you say?
I said until he started trying to sell that Dave shit.
Yeah, that game.
That was another
Soulja Boy, we already deemed you crazy last time we talked. But one of the things that I love about Soulja is his music wasn't all that. I mean, he had some wedding hits.
That's so funny because
wedding hits and stuff like that. But then you got Ariana Grande taking the swag.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Like people mention that you mentioned that because I didn't know that about Soulja Boy that he didn't have a label. But you know who they hyped up for not having a label? Macklemore.
Yep.
And he's white.
Really?
But see, that's one of the reasons why he's so eccentric now because he really feels like I didn't get the credit. Like when you see him on the Breakfast Club and he's Drake, yeah, he sounds nuts, but really listen to what he's saying. He's saying, I put out the blueprint for artists to go independent on a platform that did not. He put YouTube on the map. I remember being a kid and Googling.
He's the reason why SoundCloud rappers are who they are now.
Oh my goodness. And why you have flooded SoundCloud with your trash rap?
Well, even before that, like people were trying to do the Soulja Boy dance, then they would link the YouTube video.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say because the dance was what brought me into it. Was like
everybody wanted to
doing it at parties.
Guess what? I'll say this: he sparked musical challenges to promote a song because he put the song. Because remember. One popular, and I always use this analogy because this song came out close to when Soulja Boy came out on YouTube. Chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. But they were playing that on MTV.
Now
mind you,
what kind of soda was it?
Orange soda.
Who eating chicken noodle soup and orange soda?
I don't know. Was that a thing that was typical? Because I didn't catch the memo. I wasn't drinking.
I had ginger ale myself.
Everybody knows black people like grape soda.
The only time I was eating chicken noodle soup, I was sick.
I like Welch's.
But my thing is when you would go to the weddings and you would go to the house parties and you would go to events, nobody was out there doing a let it rain, a clear it out. Nobody was doing that. What was we doing?
At college parties. In 2006 when I was in college, yes, we was busting that chicken.
All right, all the cool kids were not doing let it rain. Listen, whatever y'all did after y'all finished playing Dungeons and Dragons is y'all business.
I'm done with you. Bye.
After Dungeons and Dragons social mixer, does not count.
I wasn't old enough to be at a social
in Miami,
mixer.
we did all that. We hit.
Oh, it's Miami. It's like that.
You want to talk?
As soon as she said Miami, we were like, oh, yeah, get out of here. Miami don't count.
And Miami
we would
everything.
Stop that. If it ain't from New York, Philly, or New York or Philly,
I'm mad you said Philly.
Then it was what was it? It was
no. Look, I was in Chicago. I was in Chicago on Chicago U's campus, and we were doing Lean with it, Rock with it. We were doing the Super Soldier Boys dance.
We did all of that. We did the jump, the crank that.
Crank that Soldier Boy. No.
The young jock is going down. We did all that.
I hated that dance too.
You on Kirk? Is going something you throw that shit up and wait for it?
Wait. Oh no, I did it.
Oh God! But before anything ends, I have to get this out because I was so glad that Jose brought that up because I was going to talk about it anyway. Devilman in the feed.
Oh, I'm about to say his name's on the air.
In the feed. I know his name. I call him Javi all the time. I know his name is Javier. Anyway, Devilman Crybaby, this anime that's on Netflix is a series, I think a 10-part or 12-part series, and they have like this rap breakdown that they do in every episode explaining what's going on currently, and it's about a group of like 5 guys, and they just come out of nowhere and start like rapping in Japanese, but it's good, like they had bars.
Like the Muses and Hercules, like how they do,
how they just pop up and just start talking about what's currently going on, and it was really, really good. And they were talking about drugs, street culture, stuff like that.
She said they had bars.
They did have bars. I was reading the subtitles. I was like,
Did you watch some of these like
no
and Japanese rap groups? They killing out here. Like
now, real quick because. And I just want to mention some notable things from this generation real quick. You're talking about what came out of that? Fortnite and the Fortnite dances, Vine and TikTok, and rappers becoming TV hosts and battle rap TV shows.
We're not talking about rappers, TV hosts.
I know, but a lot of guys, Method Man has a great mainstream career. Ice-T went.
You're talking about Nick Cannon. Leave Nick Cannon alone.
No, because I'm about to say we'll talk about that. Listen, because Ice-T went from cop killer to being on Law and Order as a cop. Like so one thing that I've noticed is these guys matured. The old school hip hop artists.
Ice Cube went from F the Police to doing Are We There?
Are We There? Right. Exactly. And Dr. Dre went from smacking Michelle up to smacking us up with hot beats.
And then we got Snoop Dogg over here, all chillax trying to change peace and love.
Right.
Over to what? 21 Jump Street.
Right.
Where he was the captain.
Yeah, how about that? And he's in every police movie. Now he was Triple X, he's a secret agent.
Yeah. He had a face for it though.
But one person who we're debuting a new segment called Noob of the Week. One person who was involved in hip hop continuously embarrasses us with his wardrobe choices. I present to you our favorite cousin that we can't stand, Nick Cannon.
Oh.
And as you can see,
Squad roasts him every time that Wild Out comes on. They get at least one Nick Cannon joke in.
Nick Cannon, I love your innovative thoughts.
He got with
Nick Cannon hustle. He make money.
He did the thing.
I need you to stop cutting up your Louis Vuitton. You're cutting up your Louis Vuitton bags and making sub-Negro masks.
He didn't cut it up.
Yeah.
Carey cut it up when she kicked him out. He was like, what?
Oh, that was him with that mask thing. He was like Sub-Zero.
That was Nick Cannon. Because Nick don't know how to act. So Nick Cannon, you are our noob of the week.
Oh.
Please stop embarrassing the black race. No. And use your funds for something other than Louis Vuitton breathing masks and bulletproof vests.
It's okay.
Oh no, I think he does a great work, but that right there could pay off 2 of my credit cards. He should have just.
That's okay. We support and embrace any weird clothes you choose to wear.
Sassy is also our noob of the week for supporting the noob of the week.
I have to support his noobish clothing ideas because I do crazy stuff with my clothes.
Nick Cannon, you are a grown man.
Oh
please.
no, she said.
She said Nick Cannon needs help and the outfit is just enough.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
So Nick Cannon is our noob of the week, and before we close out the show, we didn't get the chance to do it after we kind of told you what Juneteenth was all about, but we here at the HNIC developed a Juneteenth anthem that we would like everybody to sing, and I'm gonna go ahead on and ask Don the Magic Wand if he's got that ready for us. Don't be nervous.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's fire here?
You look afraid. I'm just saying. While Don warms it up and gets it ready for everybody, we just want
to. Juneteenth anthem?
Yep. That is definitely the HNIC Juneteenth anthem. It is indicative to the
blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo. Because I'm black and I'm black.
Are you ready for boot it up for him? So for everybody listening, as you get ready to get up out of here, we want you to recite the Juneteenth anthem, HNIC style, and when we come back, we're going to say our goodbyes, but we have to do it this way. Go ahead, Don. Boot it up for the people.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blickety black, black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black. I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black. I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blickety black, black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black. I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm black.
All right, y'all. Hopefully you were able to recite the entire HNIC Juneteenth anthem, and next year we're going to run that same song right back because it's indicative of how I feel every day. Javier, if you could give a shout out one last time, let everybody know where to catch y'all and a little bit about your show.
Yeah, definitely. We got Facebook. We're going to be on Facebook.com/That'sRealRap. We got Instagram. I got my personal is That'sRealRap_Javi, JAVY. And we have Instagram.com, That'sRealRap_official. You also have Divine So Divine, DAVINE, So Divine, DIVINE. And then we have the Buddha.
The Buddha. And Teffy, do you want to go ahead on and let everybody know where to check you out? What is it, this weekend? No.
Next weekend, not this weekend. So follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TeffyWonder, or you can follow my personal Instagram at @_VonBonnie1. I will be at the Klein Center Saturday, June 29th at the Pole Sport Organization Liberty Competition. Stage handle is the Mocha Mermaid. I'll be going on at 12. Come see me and lots of other great performers show you what a great sport and the artistry that is pole dancing. Or if you would like to come and catch a class, I go to the pole dancing studio called Flaunt Fitness in South Philly. I'll also drop their link down in the chat. Ooh.
Sassy, you got anything you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Just head on over to my cosplay page, please, if you haven't already, and like it. It'd be Cosplay with Sassy Neko. I am thinking about undergoing a change of name, which I'll post later, and just like or heart it and let me know what you think.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we develop our show and we kind of put things together, we just want to thank you, the people who tune in weekly for our shenanigans and foolishness. We are truly a non-sequester show. You don't know what we're going to do on a week-to-week basis or what's going to come out of anyone's mouth at any given time. But the fact that you give us your time and attention, we want to say we appreciate you because we had one of the highest viewed shows last week, and you continually show us that we need to show up from week to week because our dedication is predicated on your support, and honestly, the support has been beyond overwhelming. So much so that we have a special announcement. Dun dun DeMarco. Exclusive. Close. These niggas.
See, and this is why I had to tell my one coworker when she asked if it was kid friendly that we working on it.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm kid friendly. Them little niggas love me. Anyway. We just want to say we, the head nerds in charge, despite our interesting way that we present what we do to everybody, we have caught the attention of a few people over in New Jersey who deemed us.
Listen, we've caught attention of Univision, Telemundo, Jersey-wide. Puerto Ricans coming out the woodwork talking about some, hey, you guys trying to be a part of this?
Yo, yeah. We are going to be a part of New Jersey's Puerto Rican Day Parade. We will be there. We will be there with Eric the Smoke Moran. We will be there with Jason J1 Richardson. We're going to be there with some of the top names in cosplay and geekdom. We are dubbing our cabal, our collaborative effort as the Legends of Geekdom.
Yes.
Nice. Sassy's coming as Raven. Tef's gonna go ahead on and put on her Wakandan garb. You see, Javier ain't do it. You notice that? Oh, Hispanic boy. When they come out with La Capitan, then we'll do whatever they do for La Capitan. But until then, but if you're in the New Jersey area, come out on Sunday, starting at 12 o'clock. The parade starts at 12. Come check us out. We'll be in the biggest float, making the most noise with the biggest point.
At 3rd and Elm Streets. The parade starts at 12 p.m. We'll be there from 12 to 4. We bringing flyers. We bringing candies. We are bringing the noise. We gonna be there, loudest, proudest out there for Puerto Rican Day, and just come check us out. We're gonna be there all day and. And
if you find us, don't be afraid. Pull us aside. Tell us what you think of the show. All I got to say is we can't do what we do without you guys, and we super appreciate these opportunities that keep presenting ourselves. And we're just trying to spread the love to let everybody know that in this geek culture is one of the most inclusive cultures that you can have, because you know what? Everybody loves something. Yep. Everybody's a little bit of a geek inside, and real heroes don't have to wear capes. So you come out, bring the kids. That will be kid friendly.
Yes, it will.
And you get to meet all your favorite superheroes represented by people of color.
Yes.
So we will see you over at the well, he got some color in though. He got some color.
Got burned, this part.
And watch us try to learn Spanish in the next 4 days to be able to do our performance piece.
What have you learned so far?
No hablas en español.
Sí, no habla español, un poquito.
Come for the cosplay, don't mind the Spanish.
Oh, I know another word. Despacito.
Please save us, Javier. Can you we need some short classes?
You can roll us out of here, Don.
Okay, bye. Hey, let's go to McDonald's. Come on, man. That's a goof. McDonald's.